There are dollars that will need to be spent if we don't get smarter about emissions and electrification. That's indicated in the report as well. And frankly, what we're trying to do is keep up with oil sands companies and energy producers who have long had plans for pathways to net zero. We're just trying to do our part.
We all care about the environment, but at what cost? So this is a pretty ambitious plan, $88 billion. What is that going to cost the average Calgarian?
We're here today with the NoClimateEmergency.com update. It's abundantly clear to anyone who's living within the real world that people are struggling out there. Massive government spending is leading to inflation, supply chain issues are leading to uncertainty. People are losing their jobs and losing their homes. It's in difficult times like these that people sometimes turn to the government. So what is the city of Calgary doing to make things better to help people out? Well, I'll tell you, they plan on spending $87 billion, that's right, $billion on climate change initiatives. Adam Soos here for Rebel News at City Hall in Calgary, Alberta, where Calgary Mayor Jyoti Gondek and her largely lackey City Council have seemingly completely lost the plot. Their plan to make Calgary a net zero city by 2050 is impractical, implausible, and in fact largely undesirable even in concept for many in the heart of oil country here. But when you find out how much they're planning to spend in pursuit of their pipe dreams, you'll truly wonder about their psychological stability and well-being. That is, if you weren't already questioning their connection to reality after they declared a climate emergency in Calgary back in November of 2021. Gondek plans to spend $87 billion on this climate initiative. That's right, $87 billion, not million.
There are dollars that will need to be spent if we don't get smarter about emissions and electrification. That's indicated in the report as well. And frankly, what we're trying to do is keep up with oil sands companies and energy producers who have long had plans for pathways to net zero. We're just trying to do our part.
In other words, she plans to spend $62,000 for every man, woman, and child in Calgary on this unhinged climate initiative. An initiative of this hubristic magnitude would be right at home in Mao Zedong's China, a China which in the 1950s launched their Great Leap Forward, a plan to modernize the country. And despite the fact that, well, the technology wasn't quite ready and the people weren't quite buying in, they went full force with this campaign, this initiative. As a result, as many as 55 million people died. Now, I don't want to be dramatic. I'm not suggesting that if the government spends $87 billion on this initiative, we're going to lose our homes, starve, and very likely descend into an unprecedented era of totalitarian governing. But then again, neither were the Chinese.
We all care about the environment, but at what cost? So this is a pretty ambitious plan, $88 billion. What is that going to cost the average Calgarian?
At face value, this just doesn't make a lick of sense. People are losing their livelihoods, there's supply chain issues, and in fact, we are seeing costs and inflation skyrocketing to unprecedented levels, largely because of government spending initiatives like this one. But these politicians simply don't care. They don't give a lick about your average working class Joe or the family that's just trying to get by. They are tipping their hats to their handlers. This is very much the stuff of World Economic Forum dreams and working class nightmares. Beyond the initial sticker shock of the price associated with this project, we also have to realize that the technology required to make net zero possible simply doesn't exist yet. We will be spending billions of dollars on technology that is effectively prototypes and will be laughed at within a decade as absolute relics. This is not a solution moving forward. When that technology does become viable, make no mistake, it will run away with the free market. If there can be renewable, affordable, sustainable energy, it will win on the open market. It is categorically evident, much as we saw in China, that the technology simply isn't there yet. Until the technology reaches a point where it is viable, we need to stop this climate hysteria. We need to realize that we need Alberta oil and gas. Most of these climate initiatives do nothing but line the pockets of politicians and their friends. And that really is the rub of it. That's what this is all about. All you need to do is follow the money. And mark my words, when these contracts for the $87 billion in spending go out, You can just watch the money and watch where it goes. It's going to go to China. It's going to go to perhaps Saudi Arabia. It's going to go to California and some of these other states that play ball on progressive ideologies. That is what you're going to see. It'll certainly go east and to companies around Ottawa, but I highly doubt we'll be seeing much, if any, of that business right here at home, right here where we need it. These politicians want to turn Alberta into a have-not province because, frankly, Alberta pushes back a little bit and they can't stand it. They want us to own nothing, not even the $87 billion in tech we're about to buy, and they want us to be happy about it. We have entered a troubling era of politics, and that is one where politicians are not accountable and they are unbridled in their spending. It has gotten so bad that it's inevitable at this point, thanks to the efforts of people like Justin Trudeau and unpopular mayors like Jyoti Gondek, that generations will be saddled with debt, and we will endure economic and collective instability because of the actions of these people. This $87 billion eco spending spree is just a principal example of that, but there are countless others right across this country, and that is because these people are would-be tyrants. Thankfully, we have the remaining crumbling vestiges of the once great democracy of Canada still holding them in check to some extent, but who knows how long that will last. And with initiatives like this $87 billion spending spree, how far are these politicians from a total lack of accountability? They're already very far from being in touch with your average Joes and with the economic realities faced by most of us in this world today. As always, I want to thank you all so much for tuning in. For Rebel News, I'm Adam Soos. Everyone, I want to encourage you to go to noclimateemergency.com. Sign our petition letting these unhinged politicians know that you have bigger concerns than their climate hysteria. Sign our petition, learn a little bit more, and take a stand against this madness.